This is Performance Delivered, Insider Secrets for Digital Marketing Success with Steffen Horst.
Welcome back to Performance Delivered, Insider Secrets to Marketing Success, the podcast where we dive into what's driving results in today's ever-evolving marketing landscape. I'm your host, Steffen Horst, and today we're exploring how purpose, storytelling, and smart marketing can turn a simple idea into a global movement for wellness. In a world where we spend more hours seated than ever before, one entrepreneur saw an opportunity to make movement not just accessible, but essential. Joining me today is Natasha Nikolaeva, founder of StretchIt, a leading app and workplace wellness platform helping people improve flexibility, mobility, and mindfulness through practical science-based routines. Natasha is a wellness entrepreneur and workplace health advisor focused on integrating movement and mindfulness into the rhythm of modern work. Before founding StretchIt, she practiced corporate M&A law at DLA Piper, where she experienced firsthand the physical and mental demands of high-performance environments. That experience shaped her mission to help individuals and organizations create healthier, more resilient teams, one stretch at a time. Now, today we'll explore how Natasha built and marketed StretchIt from the ground up, from finding her niche and growing her user base to building a brand that people generally trust and love. Natasha, before we dive into marketing strategies, I'd love to start with the origin story. What was the spark behind StretchIt? How did the initial idea come about? And what problem were you determined to solve?
Hi, thank you so much for having me, first of all. And thanks for such a great intro. Like you mentioned, I used to be a corporate M&A attorney. And I remember I really loved my job, by the way. I really enjoyed what I was doing. But I was in my 20s and my body was already falling apart from just sitting all day, stressing all day. And I remember being maybe 25 years old and I was experiencing this lower back pain. And I thought, well, I'm just getting older. You know, what are you going to do with that? So I thought that was just part of life. I didn't realize I could do anything about that. It was around 20 years ago. So we didn't have support that many employees do have these days. Wellness benefits were not common back then. And so I didn't have any resources to actually address that other than just going to a doctor. But I wasn't really injured, so I was just suffering in silence, so to speak. And then I moved to New York, and I got into some aerial fitness, and I started stretching at a dance studio here in New York. And to my surprise, stretching turned out to be, I thought it was boring and painful, so I never really tried it. And it turned out it was fun. And I started taking those flexibility classes and I got so flexible. People were thinking I was a gymnast, really. And then I went to law school here in New York and I graduated. And then I realized I didn't want to go back to the office because I wanted more flexibility in my life, not just in my body, but in my schedule as well. So I partnered with my sister who also got into stretching. She was also experiencing all sorts of benefits of it. Basically, we both reclaimed our bodies. All those body pains were gone. I felt so nicer, lighter. I felt this connection with my body. And because we had access to this amazing stretching instruction here, we just decided we wanted to share that with the world. And that was our initial goal. So we came there from the fitness perspective, from stretching perspective, right? And then when we thought, okay, how do we deliver those digital classes to people? So we came up with an app because the app was, we started in 2014. So it was, over 11 years ago when we started. And apps were less common back then, but there were still fitness apps were already available on the App Store, Google Play. So that's how we started it, and that's how we came up with the app idea.
Now, when you first launched StretchIt, what marketing strategies did you prioritize to gain initial traction and visibility in such a crowded app marketplace?
Sure. So It's actually took us 2 years to launch. So we had plenty of time. And because I had this legal background working corporate M&A, so I worked a lot with businesses. And then my first postgrad degree was actually business school. So I understood, unlike unfortunately many developers, I understood the importance of marketing. So I've always known that it's not enough to just create a great product and people would come and buy it. So I realized that, and my sister did as well. She had some business experience before we started. So, and it took, like I said, it took us a really long time to launch the app. So we had this 2 years to actually market what we were building, and we started the app in September 2014, and so we created our Instagram StretchIt Instagram account. I believe it was early 2015, and we launched in August 2016. So we had like a year and a half of doing some marketing prep work. So we started with just running an Instagram account. We were posting a lot. Back then, algorithms were different. And the more you posted, the more followers you were getting. So we were basically, as far as I remember, we were posting like 5 times every day, which is, a lot. And we did that every single day. So no weekends, no holidays, nothing. So every day, 5 times a day, we posted something. The content was easier to create back then, though. Like now, you need to put more effort, more creativity. And back then, you could just post pictures and some inspirational quotes, and that went well on social media. But that's what we're doing. So we started with the Instagram account. And so for a year and a half, we were running it consistently. We were doing some challenges. We were partnering. We were in this dance community, and our initial program was actually hardcore flexibility, not what we offer now, more health and just light movement related stuff. But we were in this. We had access to this community of dancers, and we were partnering with other dancers on Instagram, doing challenges together, just sharing some of our videos, content that was supposed to be available through the app later on. But that's how we put the brand out there. And so by the time we were ready to launch, we already had some following. I'm not sure, I don't really remember how big it was, but I would say maybe like 35 to maybe 50,000 followers, which was good for for the business before we even launched. So I remember when we launched, we already had some people who were waiting for the app. Oh, and also a second thing we did was a beta test. It was really embarrassing because the app was so buggy when we started beta testing. But we got maybe 200 people, something like that, from our followers on Instagram. And they became our beta testers. So that also helped put the brand out there. And there were some initial users who were actually trying the app, trying the classes, giving us feedback on the app and on the classes. And so then when we launched, we started launching. Our core market is the US, right? But we did a soft launch starting from Canada, then other countries, and then we launched eventually worldwide. But we postponed the US launch just to make sure everything was working. So I remember I just came up with this sort of game on Instagram. So we launched in Canada, and then I would go on Instagram and ask people every day, like, what countries should we launch next? And based on comments, we would launch, the new country every day. So that happened for, I don't know, a couple of weeks maybe. And that actually helped a lot because from day one, we did have some users. We started getting revenues from basically months one. Of course, it was small, but it was something. And it was not just from the money perspective, but, from like motivation perspective. I think it's when you work on something, especially for that long, for 2 years, it feels really great when people actually use it and they actually like it, even if it's just, a few users.
It's kind of proof of concept, right?
I was really sure in the concept, in the product. I don't think that's a good business advice, maybe for most people. But I'm always like, I trust myself a lot. And that's not what they teach in business school, of course. There should be testing involved. There should be MVP, minimal viable product, right, involved. There should be proof of concept, maybe research, maybe like a test group. That's in the ideal world. So first of all, we didn't have resources and budget for all of that. And second of all, like all my life, I'm only able to do what I really love. So I've never really worked just for a paycheck. I was a lawyer. I really enjoyed that. Before that, I was an accountant. I really enjoyed that. Now I run the StretchIt app. I really love that. But because it was personal when we started, because stretching was so important to me and it helped me so much. And I was sure that's something that people needed. Of course, getting feedback from our initial users who, like I said, were dancers, really helped a lot just to support, my belief in this business. But I went all the way in without, of course, we did the research in terms of competitors and features that we wanted to have on the app. I would say if I was to do this again, I would maybe make the first version simpler. So like more MVP-like. Yeah, because we wanted to put like maybe a bit too much in the initial version of the app. But all those features, people loved them actually. It just took us longer to launch. But I knew how great the program was because that's what I was doing myself. That what helped me. Probably it's also helped that I wasn't from fitness background myself. So I took the same classes as an adult, as a non-flexible adult, and so I tested every single thing on myself, and that would help me. So I knew this would help other people as well. And in terms of the app, I worked with a designer, with coders, of course. But again, I wanted to create something I would love. And because I trusted myself, I thought if I create something I love, other people will love that too. So that's how it happened.
Now the space of stretching, wellness, health, it's a really busy market, right? I mean, if I go on to any, whether it's Apple marketplace, there are countless apps that do similar things than what you guys offer. Back in 2014 to 2016, I'm sure there were competitors, but when you looked at them, how did you position StretchIt so it stood out from the competitors back then? And what role did storytelling and branding play in attracting your first users?
Sure, yeah. So actually, there are lots of fitness apps on the App Store. I would say stretching and mobility, it's still kind of a niche. There are more apps on stretching, mobility, and flexibility out there now than there were in 2014. But still not too many, I would say. So what we did back in 2014, so we did this research. There were several stretching apps. We identified them, we researched them, we tried them, but none of them offered a really comprehensive stretching program, in terms of content itself to start with. And so I was lucky that I had access to really great instruction, so that, and I wanted to create a variety. So, because I know with any fitness, right, people lack motivation most of the time. And then, so once they are able to try a class, and if they like it in the beginning, they always want to come back and get for something new, right? Because if it's the same thing over and over again, people get bored, so they lose interest, they stop doing that. So I wanted to create something that had enough variety. It was effective, of course, and had enough variety to keep people engaged. So that was one of those things, because we realized there was nothing like that was available. And up until now, we offer the most comprehensive stretching, mobility, and flexibility program in the world. And we added on top of that. So when we initially launched, we were more niche back then, actually, because we were focusing on like more hardcore flexibility training. And our first users were dancers, gymnasts, cheerleaders. So we had this amazing classes on splits, on backbends, and nobody offered that on an app back then. And then during COVID, people were asking us, can you just give us something? We want to stretch, but we don't want to get our splits. Can you just give us something simple, short? So we created plenty of content to support health, right? Healthy mobility, improve sleep, improve posture, just stretch at the desk, stretch before going to bed, stretch in the morning. So short 5 to 10 minute sessions. So we expanded to that health space as well for people who just need to add movement in their lives.
So basically started off with really core audience, like a group of people for which what the app offered was extremely beneficial, right? And from there, then you kind of expanded out into areas that might not mean that extreme exercise that you had for the dancers and the people for which it made really sense on a day-to-day basis, to kind of reach out to more the casual audience. Is that about right to say?
Yes, absolutely. And that's in terms of content, how we differentiated ourselves, but also in terms of the app itself, because of course, since we were distributing the classes through an app, it made sense to make the app, the best possible. So what we initially did when we researched our competitors, so we looked into every single one and we picked features that we loved the most, and we saw that certain things were missing in different apps. So we wanted to create like the best of the best, and that add on our own, my own ideas of what I would want to see on the app. And since we launched in 2016, we've been consistently changing the app, adding new features, because again, content is super important. It's always going to be one of the most important things on the StretchIt app. But then also, how do we help people create habits? How do we help people get engaged with the app? How do we make them come back? And so and it's basically we release new features almost. I wouldn't say we release a big new feature every month, but definitely several big features a year, and then smaller things almost every week.
You talked about how you started and how you kind of gained visibility by, over a period of 1.5 years, posting on Instagram kind of related content, engaging with the audience that basically are looking to kind of pull into the app. What other marketing channels did you use along the way up until now to kind of drive more, more download, get more engagement?
Sure. Yeah. Of course, we did. So social media, it's organic growth, right? And then word of mouth helped a lot as well, especially in the beginning. And then we did and do some paid advertising. There was a time a few years ago where we did a lot of paid ads, again, on social media, but that was like social media, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Google search, Apple search ads, right? All those. There was a time that was our focus actually, and we did a lot of advertising there. Then last year, we expanded to the B2B space. So now StretchIt is also available through employers. And so that was when we had to learn a new approach because this business space is so different. And we did try ads in the beginning, like LinkedIn ads and Google ads, and they didn't really work well. So we started doing a lot of offline marketing, such as, so this year we've been going to conferences a lot, 2 to 4 conferences a month, mostly HR related, some of them benefit brokers related, just to get the brand out there, to meet people, decision makers in the space, present StretchIt to them, explain the benefits. And that's what we do. That's our focus. That's our focus this year, is mostly more offline marketing.
Yeah. So one thing is obviously to be picked up by companies to be part of their benefit package, right? Or by the providers that provide benefit packages to companies. The other thing is having people actually pick the benefit. So how do you how you bridge that gap, because it's two different groups, right? It's one, it's kind of the as you said, the human resource, wellness, health advocates within a company. The other one is kind of the employees that when they go and select their benefits, that it's like, oh, StretchIt, I've heard of it, and you know what, this is great. I want to actually sign up for it. How do you approach that part?
Sure. Yeah. So, and that's very important part actually, because again, being in the app business, retention and engagement are two most important things. And I understand that once we sign a business client, it's only the beginning, right? Because if we just sign them and walk away, basically, then they won't extend for the next year. So we always need to make sure that employees actually use those benefits. Exactly like you said, right? So this all depends on, we approach this on client to client basis, right? So we always I like to have access to clients, to their HR people, their strategy, communication teams. We do offer this day-to-day support on our end, just to make sure employees actually know the benefit is available. They're actually motivated to try it. And the way we do that with clients is, first of all, we help with the launch. Right. We when clients let us, we like to come in and do, for example, a virtual live session. It can be virtual live, it can be offline session, depending on the client, right? Or we can do this as a launch announcement, or we can just join any other corporate event. Maybe they have a wellness event or just company-wide event. So we come in, and we do a stretch session. Something simple people can do sitting in a chair at the workplace, at the conference, at any setup, and so that's, and it's always short. It's maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes, 5, 10, 15 minutes, just to show people that with a little bit of movement, without extra space, without special clothing, they can move and they can feel better. And of course, during this session, we announced that the StretchIt app is available as a benefit, and that we offer similar sessions on the app and more. And we encourage people to download, right? For clients who don't have any events planned, we at least encourage them to play a video, that we record in advance, again, announcing the benefit, and including a short stretch session people can try right away. So once they try, they are way more inclined to actually download and try the app. So then we make sure we reinforce this. We do a lot of email marketing actually. So we keep reminding people who haven't activated their subscriptions that the benefit is available. And we do that with multiple, because stretching helps with so many different things. So in our email marketing campaigns, we just emphasize different issues and areas of improvement people may have, right? Like maybe you have a back pain, so we'll send out an email on back pain, explaining people how stretching can help with that, or neck pain, or maybe posture, maybe sitting all day. So all those, and we've created over, I think, 50 emails that we send once a week. So it's for a whole year. So those people who haven't downloaded the app yet, they keep getting these reminders with some information on stretching and how it can help, so that, at some point they actually download the app. We, of course, do performance reviews with clients, again, to see where they stand, how does activation rate look like. Then one of my favorite features actually is competitions. So we have competitions on the app, and we do global competitions for everybody on the StretchIt app. Friends can create competitions just for them. And then very important, teams can create competitions for their teams and companies, right? So that's something that, and I keep hearing that teams are so competitive. People love that so much. So we encourage our clients to actually take the benefit of this feature and actually create competitions for their teams. Once competition is created, it's for that specific company. Only their employees are able to join and see the leaderboard. So everybody sees their ranking, their leaders. They use the app, earn points, climb the leaderboard, and that's always increases engagement. I would say, just from the top of my head, on average, an active member, an active user stretches 3 times a week with the app. And then for one of our recent competitions for one of our clients, we were able to increase that to 9.5 sessions a week for the time of the competition. So it's on average, people were doing more than one session a day, which was really great. So we encourage them to do that.
Yeah. So now one thing is to get people to download the app, right? The other one is to keep them using the app and kind of continuously sticking to a plan. Or how do you approach making sure that people are engaged, that they continuously use the app for their best?
That's very important. Again, our app is subscription-based, and it's for directly to consumers. So when just people download it on the App Store, Google Play, find us on the website, or through employer. Through employer, it's still subscription-based, right? Because we want our clients to stay with us past year one. So making sure that those who downloaded the app actually use it is one of our major business goals. And again, we approach it from several different perspectives. So of course, in the very beginning, so we have this onboarding, and the goal is to create a personalized program for each user. So the app asks a series of questions to make sure to learn more about a user, and create a program that would address that person's needs the best. And once there is a schedule, because for any activity, I would say it's really important to have a schedule. So if you have something to get back to, you're more likely to use the app, right? Because there is something waiting for you there versus, it's just a library of classes and you just look around. So for personalized programs, there are going to be a schedule. We encourage people to turn on notifications so that we can send them training reminders. Most people allow that. So that's really great, because once the notifications are on, so we can communicate with the person even when they don't use the app, right? So we send them stretching reminders, we send them announcements, new content announcements, new activities announcements. So that's a big part of that. We keep doing email marketing, of course, as well. Then again, competitions. It's a great way to keep people engaged, and irrespective of company, corporate and friends competitions, we do global competitions for everybody on the app. So we encourage people to join. We even offer prizes. Like our first competition was in January, because that's when we launched this new feature, and first players got an iPhone. Sometimes we give away AirPods and just different types of prizes, just to encourage people to actually join and participate. And that increases engagement significantly. Again, releasing new content. We release new content weekly. So there is always something new people can try. What else? Oh, we do challenges. So challenges are... We do a new challenge every week. It's when we launched a new program people can join and do together. Most programs on the app people can do on their own time, but we find it fun when people feel the sense of community. So every Monday we launch a new program people can join and do together. So they know it's not just me working on my speeds. It's so many people around the world doing the same. So we do that. I would say those are the features we are focusing on right now. We are working on AI coach also. It's going to launch within a few months, I would say. And the goal is also to keep people engaged. A goal is to have someone on the app that can message you and maybe check in with you, more than just a training reminder, but more like human-like, coach-like communication. maybe asking you, oh, you haven't stretched for a while, like what's going on in your life. Maybe you've been traveling a lot and you didn't realize there are sessions you can do on the plane. So the coach will highlight that and again re-engage people help keep them engaged. Maybe sometimes people want to complain or just share whatever is going on, what's holding them back, and maybe coach can find a solution. Maybe offering a simpler, shorter session. People can do, like even on the plane, sitting in a chair or in a hotel.
To make the right decision, although you kind of in the beginning said you used your gut a little bit, right? When launching a business, you had to believe that this is a business or that's a business idea that will be successful. But what metrics or insights guide your marketing decision? So what are you looking at to say something works or something doesn't work?
I would say my number one go-to is actually revenue. So again, I know that especially in the app business, a lot of apps, they just focus on user base mostly. And especially, I would say up until maybe a few years ago, or many, many businesses, that was the most important number, sort of, because there were businesses that were aiming at growth, and then maybe, you sell it, and even if financials are not good at all, maybe it's a loss, just burning, a lot of apps were just burning cash, especially on ads. That's it's super easy thing to do, right? Get investments, just spend it all on ads, grow your user base. And now investors are more sophisticated, so they don't just look at those numbers, but there was this time. But for me, I've always wanted it to be a real business, with profits and revenue. And I wanted to actually be able to help people, not just to get, more and more and more users, but maybe lose them along the way in terms of like they wouldn't stick with the app for long enough, they won't get the benefits. So that's why I always look at revenues first, at profitability first. So that's my most important number. But of course, it's difficult to assess, like, okay, this new feature, how much money it generated by itself. So of course, in general, like download rates and then conversion rates, if we're talking about direct to consumers, then, okay, how many people start the free trial, what percentage of them convert into paying users, and then how long do they stay with the app, how long do they pay for the app. So those numbers.
And do you break that out between kind of your direct-to-consumer and kind of business versus the business that kind of works through other businesses, like where you're part of the benefits section?
Yeah. So those are two different revenue streams. And I would say we have different goals for both. And actually, it's like, it's sort of like running two businesses now, because it's like so different. So when we expanded to the B2B space, I needed to just, first of all, change my mindset a lot, because I was so used into this direct to consumer marketing and sales, which is always fast. And then this free trial to initial subscription, then retention. Those were the most important things. And I knew how to affect that. And all, and then B2B is so different. So sales cycle is so different. It's so much slower. The marketing is so different. Even like what we need to highlight when we talk to a prospect, right, is so different, because if it's just a person on the App Store or Google Play, they need something to help them, right? If I talk to HR, so they're also people. They also need to help themselves and their and they want to help their employees, but then they also have their own goals, right? Because they have their budgets. And then what happens, they need to show ROI to their leadership afterwards, and it's very different from, so like they cannot go there and say, oh yeah, so, my back doesn't hurt anymore. So it won't be enough. They need to show numbers in ROI, what they spent, what they got out of that. And also engaging people. Yeah, it's different. I find when people pay, it definitely works for fitness. People who pay for fitness, they are more likely to actually do it, because they feel like, oh, okay, I've just paid for 3 months, so I'd better use it. Employees, they typically don't pay for benefits, right? So there should be a bit different approach to keep them engaged, because that's out of the picture, and that's a big one, actually. But again, I would say people at the workplace, there is this social component that can be utilized better, in terms of doing something together. Like, we encourage our clients to play our videos before meetings, right? So it can be a lot of that happens online now, right? There is all these platforms. So if there is a team meeting, we encourage them to play a short, maybe few-minute video so that people can participate. And again, it reminds them about the fact that the benefit is available. It helps them feel better right away. And then it also shows that employer cares, like if that's something an employer encourages, or a team leader encourages their team to do, that's when people feel, okay, so that's what encouraged here. Let me try to do this on my own time as well. So it's a different approach, but I would say, for teams, there is this social element, again, with team competitions, with maybe let's do this together, maybe us participating in their corporate events. That would help more, that would substitute this, paying component or like monetary investment that direct consumers have.
Well, Natasha, thank you so much for joining me on the Performance Delivered podcast and sharing your story from law to wellness entrepreneurship, and how StretchIt has become a model for purpose-driven brand growth. Now, for listeners who want to experience StretchIt or learn more about your workplace wellness programs, where can they connect with you online?
Sure. So the website is StretchItApp.com. And the business website, it can be accessed through the regular website, or it's business.stretchitapp.com. You can, of course, find us on Instagram at StretchItApp, my LinkedIn, Natasha Nikolaeva. And please join. If you're a consumer, you have a 7-day free trial that lets you just try the app. No risk there. See if it's good for you, if you like it. And for our business clients, for brokers, consultants, platforms, please book a demo. We'll walk you through the app, show you the interface, explain all the features, and let's see if it's a good fit for your company.
Sounds good. As always, we'll leave that information in the show notes. Thanks, everyone, for listening. If you enjoyed this episode of Performance Delivered, please subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes or your favorite podcast application. To find out more about Symphonic Digital, visit us at symphonicdigital.com or follow us on X at SymphonicHQ. See you next time.
Performance Delivered is sponsored by Symphonic Digital. Discover audience-focused and data-driven digital marketing solutions for small and medium businesses at symphonicdigital.com.